Hi, Italo. How you doing with the protocol?
I'm doing pretty fantastic. So here's something I never share with you. Over the past 2 months, I started seeing some developments in my gut because initially, as I told you back in June, I was in the hospital for almost a month. And it was probably one of the most painful times of my life. But after that, I met you and you shared with me the protocol. I bought those pills immediately. And initially, I wasn't fully convinced. I think you convinced me because you told me a lot of information that I've never heard in my life. I haven't heard this in 18 years. But then as I started seeing some progress inside, I said, this is interesting. And lately, my biggest suffering has always been through the pain because my colon tends to go narrow. So I have lots of narrowing on the ileum. And I couldn't get out of this. It had been almost a year and a half since the pandemic started. But lately, I've been able to see my stools come out much, much more smoother. And before I used to go to the bathroom maybe once every 2 days, I'm literally going twice a day now, which is a huge, huge victory for me. The pain has gone down 90%. My skin, my face, my friends tell me, you're looking like you're healed. And I feel pretty healed. I'm eternally grateful. I was in tears when I was in tears last week.
Well, I believe we had a very good appointment, and you were quiet. You were listened, and I felt as though as we moved through the appointment, you became quite inspired. You asked me good questions, and I gave you the honest answers. And you said to me, just by hearing what I had to say, it took a tremendous load off your shoulders. You remember saying that?
It's a life-changing experience because every doctor would just tell me, look, you're going to have to get back on Remicade or Inflamax. And last time I did that, it did a series of allergic reactions. I ended up back in the hospital. Every time I would get medicine, I would end up back in the hospital. Instead of making me better, it was making me worse. The level of financial burden that it brought to our families, the emotional, I can't even tell you. And when you told me that what I have is not a condition, but it's simply we have to get down to the root cause of the problem. And all my life, everybody has been telling me, you have a symptoms, you have this symptom, and you have that, and take, just drink this and you're good. And you're going to have to drink this for life. But then you look at the medicines, and those medicines are scary. Some of them said, there's absolute guarantees of potential cancer. And I'm like, I don't want to treat my symptoms and then have other kinds of diseases. And then you said, this, all you have to do is reset the software.
What I said to you was you don't have a disease. You have a man-made condition that I've given a name called Acquired Inflammatory Bowel, AIB. That's a game changer. That's a game changer because you were told nothing but you had a disease. Disease. You go on the internet, it's a disease. You talk to anybody else, it's a disease. One thing they all have in common, they haven't been healed. And even coming out of college, these young kids coming out of college, naturopath school, they're using the wrong model. The model for the medicine is that it's a disease. They come out of nutritional college and they're going to chase around the immune system because they took the same model and believe it's a disease. So they're going to get I don't care what herbs they use, they're not going to get the results because they're treating it the wrong way. What I did was I turned the thing totally upside down. Turned it upside down and said, let me look at it from upside down, or turn it inside out. And I just didn't accept the model at all. And now I apply it to you, and you never heard this before. You never heard it before. Hey, you can be healed in 90 to 120 days. All natural. There isn't going to be anything else to it. The risk of cancer that is actually almost non-existent. When I say almost non-existent, it doesn't usually happen, but there's potential there if you're using the chemicals. The problem with the chemicals, the drugs, is they just suppress your immune system, and there's a lot of problems with that. But when a doctor, for instance, says, oh, you could get cancer, that's a little, they should be saying that, number one. But what I heard from you, even right now, was that a certain kind of excitement that, everyone gets. When I have an appointment with somebody, we have a joke. I usually say you're going to be tap dancing halfway through this appointment.
Doctor, you don't understand what it means to, well, I think you do because you've heard a lot, but 18 years versus 60 days of feeling healed. If somebody would have told me this at 17.
You've been through a lot.
I went through so many near-death experiences
Oh,
that for something so simple as fixing your software, I had my life back. That's
you have a wife,
everything.
and you have your wife, you have children, you have a business, you have coworkers, and you have friends, and now you enjoy them.
You know how they say that you have to wear the oxygen mask first? That's what I've had to do for the last 18 years. One day you're here, the next day you could be in the hospital again. And through this pandemic, it's been so tough. It's been so tough. You don't get to see your loved ones. They can't be there with you. I was isolated in a room for a week or two because they thought I had coronavirus. They couldn't even do an enteroscopy on me because the doctors thought I had coronavirus until I tested negative, and they did it. But it's like, you have to go through all these things every single year for so many years. And if someone could just come in like you and tell you, hey, you don't have a disease.
Probably the first thing I tell people, you don't have a disease. Let's get that out of the way. They go, what? And, I can see the change in them, hear the change in them. That's true, my friend. You don't have a disease. You have a man-made condition, and you're in the middle of healing it, which blows people's mind. I want to tell you something. It's a miracle. It's a miracle when you get healed of something that you're told by everybody and the supposed experts that it can't happen. And you probably never had one person ever say to you, it can be healed. It's not a disease. I come along and say something pretty radical. It sounds radical, but it happens to be the truth. And I've got thousands and thousands of people I've healed. It's a miracle.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to have been able to connect with you because, when you're a professional in the field, I do coaching, I do mentoring, and I train big businesses, and we have to perform extremely well. If I cannot be at a meeting that day, I lose. For everyone out there that's listening, it's just for someone who's traveled all over the world seeking for answers, there is never going to be anything wrong about trying. Because if you don't try, you will never know what's at the other side. And I've seen it right now. I'm healing to a rapid rate. It's only been not even 2 months, and I'm feeling at 90%.
I wanted to add one thing to what you said. The protocol that I have, the GIQ, it is amazing the depth of it, because while you are installing the software into your gut, that software is going out to the bloodstream, and every single cell is being infused with the software. The software will do in the cell with the same thing for the cell, no matter what part of the body it is, as it does in the gut. It sets things straight. You have software that's going to be, it's through your whole system. You have hardware that doesn't know how to behave, doesn't know how to work without the software. It's not just the stomach. Yes, you picture a cell in your lungs, anywhere else, it needs the software that we've talked about, and we don't have to do anything different. What we're doing is we're not only healing your colon, physically we're perfecting you. I just want to add that because I'm really proud of that.
I am so grateful for this protocol. For me, I've shared it with so many friends because they all suffer from the same. And, if the world could know that there is a way out and that you don't need to continue suffering, it's such a relief.
Well, it's a relief, and the planet deserves it. The planet deserves it. Nobody deserves the misery you've been through. And those days are going to be over. I wish I did reach 18 years ago. But now you're there, here, now. Very often I get off the phone and cry. But they're tears of gratitude. I'm a little bit now getting emotional. When you can take somebody's misery and make it go away, maybe it doesn't heal their whole life, but you can take this burden from somebody. Wow. It's cliche to say, but I'm kind of privileged. It's like, wow. At the end of the day, I said, I did this. It's not just, fixing someone's toenail. We're taking a major burden out of your life and allowing you to achieve things that you wouldn't achieve going down that road. I've said this before, or I said it to you, just in your area where you live, there's probably 10,000 people who have a similar problem. None of them, brother, are ever going to meet me. So 10,000, there's one of them that's going to have a joyous life without this burden. And 9,999 that won't. Why? Because they didn't pursue it. You got to get on and look for an answer. You got to get in a group. You got to ask somebody, and you got to be looking for an alternative, something different. People tell me they're up in the middle of the night. They find my ad on, say, Google or something. They say, "Wow, wow." I said, "This guy says he can heal it. Wow." And they'll wake up their spouse or something and say, look at this. The people who I see that don't get healed are the ones who don't buy into it. They're skeptical, they're negative, they don't stay with it. The 2% I don't heal isn't because of me. It's because of them. They have an appointment with me and never hear from them again. Don't call me in 2 weeks, nothing. So you're the ideal patient. And I hate to say it this way, you're ideal because you've been through the mill and you're motivated. People who haven't been through the hell don't do as well because they haven't hit the rock bottom yet. So I'm proud of you.
I am so grateful. My family's so grateful. My wife, I can see a smile on her face every single day now. And before I met you, the only times that I've ever found some kind of relief in getting off those flare-ups is when I went back to nature, when I went back to the natural processes that aren't chemical, that have progressively over time helped me maintain, not heal, but maintain myself better. There's something different about this. I really feel strongly. I've been trying different foods that I couldn't try before. I said, I got to start trying this. I'm even slightly eating some things that I shouldn't be. I said, I need to test how far this process has gone. And doctor, I stopped taking all my medicines. I don't take medicines today. I don't take any pills. I only take your protocol. Well, I don't intend to deviate either.
You know why that happened? Because we installed the software. The software had been altered or eliminated or dented by the antibiotics that you took. That's like the ultimate virus, in this model. That's the virus, is the antibiotic goes in. The only drug that takes some of your anatomy with it on the way out of your system, the mucosal lining. So when we installed the software, we gave you an upgrade. And now the data that you were downloading in food, you're able to process some data and not others. Why? Because your software is out of date, got damaged. We update you. All of a sudden, your software in your gut recognizes a code in a banana or an apple or whatever you couldn't eat before. When you install, it's like you have a keyboard. You can't use the letters R, K, or M. And you say, well, that's okay, I can work around it. But you have to try to figure out how to write an email without those letters. And so you've been having to eliminate foods and not eat foods. One of them is for joy and happiness, and one of them is for another reason is for health reasons. You need those vitamins. We installed the software, brother. You understand that. You're a tech guy. I don't know tech, but I knew that analogy. But putting things in your body that have a code, and the software recognizes it before it didn't. So you'll be able to eventually eat dairy or whatever it is. And how do we do it? Yeah, I'm old school. We just put it in your mouth and try it. See what happens at the other end. That's what I say. Put it in one end, see what happens in the other. And we do that at a time. It doesn't have to be pinned down. We do it at a strategic time, only meaning that after we've done the protocol for a while. It doesn't have to be on a Wednesday at 2 o'clock and not in 90 days. And we're doing it for a while. You're doing it till good. All right, still got a little bit of this symptom, that symptom. Yeah, fine. Let's try some cheese. Whatever it would be that bother you. Software, brother. When you can then eat anything, guess what else is going to happen? Nothing. You will never get sick. Why? Because every virus, germ, bacteria has a code. Your GI tract with the installed software knows the code of all these germs and knows how to dismantle them, digest them. It digests germs like it would digest a piece of cake. It doesn't differentiate. It doesn't know they're different. It just eats them because it recognizes the code. You'll never get sick again. You watch. People can sneeze on you and everything else. You won't get sick. Personally, and I'm not exaggerating, I do have a GI problem, but I've installed the software. I honestly haven't been sick in 35 years anyways. And my wife. It's a luxury. And you're getting that as an add-on value. So there's so much more to this protocol. There's the levels. And I just started putting it together to help people and say, well, I'm surprised. I was shocked. That worked. And it's working. But also there's other levels that you're going to be, listen, my friend, if there's physical wrinkles in you, they're going to get ironed out. It's going to be smooth. Without even paying attention. We don't even know what they were. Hey, we had a little bit of a lung problem come up. Boom. Smoothed out. Doesn't have it anymore. You're going to have control of your biochemistry without even having to do anything. It's just going to be there. It's like having someone come along and say, oh, we got software for your computer or your phone way beyond what you have now. And you don't have to do anything. Just put it in there and it'll do it for you.
I'm excited. I have so many questions on our next session. I do have to get to the business seminar that I'm attending, but I do have one thing to ask you because it is a long seminar. Am I at the stage where I can start drinking coffee? Because, us Italian, we love coffee.
Are you talking about some kind of super duper Hispanic espresso or something?
Yeah, just one of those nice Italian short espresso coffees.
Oh, yeah, you can have that. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. And next time we talk, we'll ask you how it went.
I'm going to set up an appointment with you. I'm going to ask you some questions because I've got a list here, but I'm extremely grateful, doctor. And your work means my life. So I really appreciate everything you put into it.
Thank you. I appreciate that too. So I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Absolutely. I'm super happy. Thank you, doctor. Have a great one.
Okay, bye.